I do this one again because I'm trying to keep this to the book. So I stand just almost like it broke there for a minute. First things first, my name is Kenneth Bird, and my company is ILEG Technology Screens. You'll see my cat walk by the camera multiple times. That's this area right there that he chills in. If he does something weird on camera, that's what he does. He does weird things on cameras now. I don't know why. He just started doing this whole cleaning process of himself on camera. Cats are weird. But anyway, he's a cool dude. He's in his box right now. He's chilling in the box next to me. I've got to suit up your box a little better than that. I work with cardboard. You should have a much better box system than that. I think I'm going to get rid of that box and hook you up a box. Something better than that. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this old box and get him a new box. Don't know who Taco is. This is my baby right here, my emotional support cat. But only my emotional support cat, my buddy in the whole entire world. I freaking love you so much. When you be on camera so much and now you don't want to be on camera. Taco. There you go. Say hello. All right, then. We're going to upgrade his box, Stephanie. I'm going to hook him up with a crazy box. Something cool. But anyway, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. All right? Because last one was way too long, and I had to delete it because it was just way too long. And I'm getting pretty good with this whole, keep things short and sweet. So anyway, as I said before, how I got into the business, actually, I was into computers before I got into screen paints. And if you haven't seen any of my computer builds, these are my babies over here. I know they look crazy, don't they? That's trash. You got to take it out today. By the way, ain't that crazy? That's my PCs over there that I built. But anyway, I was doing PC builds before I got into screen paints. And I got my ability to do this is, of course, our company's Christian owned, because we give all thanks and all glory to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which blessed us with the technology to be able to do all this cool stuff. So I was in the computers first, and are we in big screen mode here? Because it feels like I'm not in big screen mode here. Let me see. I just put a new. Is this the other one? Oh yeah, I gotta change this one out too on my big screen mode. Gotta change. I just figured out how to do it. I literally figured out how to change it out. So I got a new one on there. I just bought, and I want to be to change it. And I ain't gonna do it in this video because it just takes too long for me to do that. Let me get mine on right now. This is hooked to my PC. All right. So bottom line is, yeah. So I got into this field because I didn't have a choice. I bought a projector. I literally thought the projector was going to do all this stuff that is set on the box. It showed the beautiful family and all of them enjoying this amazing screen, and I'm watching him at the same time. I told you my cat does weird stuff on camera. Hey, don't you even think about it. I would appreciate it if you didn't do that. Thank you. He does weird stuff on camera. Anyway, so that game just came out. I got food over the box. I got this projector, did the research and all that, and it was BenQ MS800, which I'm still trying to track one of those down. For some reason, I want my own projector back. And I got it from FedEx and hooked it up, and it was horrible. Like, the screen was washed out of mine. I'm coming up 2 high-performance monitors, and it's custom-built PC I built. Took me a bit, cost me a lot of money, and I was tapped out of funds. I didn't have the money to go out and get all new monitors all over again, because I didn't have it, because I blew it all on my PC and I had to wait till my money replenished before I can go down that road. And till then, I was going to take a while. So yeah, I wanted the game on my PC that I paid money for, and I couldn't do it. So when I got the system there, it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. Now, going to my friend's house, this is where it all started, but basically getting rid of my monitors, because going to his house, yeah, it's the modem. Anyway, so as I said before, going to his house and watching this giant 120-inch screen, played on his 360 Gears of War, looked amazing. I'm thinking, oh man, yeah, I got to change. I need a bigger screen. And mind you, when I was looking at projectors way back, there were CRTs, they had BMCs and VGAs, so nothing like what I saw on that projector. That projector had all the outputs that I had on my graphic cards. I'm thinking, I need a bigger screen. I definitely have a bigger screen. So I go back to my place, and I get the idea that I'm going to sell my monitors, which I did, and I'm going to get this massive screen. I'm going to paint the wall in and put it right to the screen. So we get the projector in, we hook it up, and I find out that the farther back you are, the bigger the screen. So I didn't get the whole wall. I got 80 inches, but that's a lot bigger than what I had before. And then turning the projector on, it was awful, absolutely awful. The white levels It was good, but the contrast and color was so poor. You're talking about a person who came off monitors, high definition monitors on a high performance graphic card, and I was so freaking upset. I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna suck. I can't do this. So then I go talk to my buddy, and he goes, well, you know, you can get a gray wolf. I said, can't afford that, untapped. He said, well, there's a YouTube paint out that you can make. And that's why I found out about the gray YouTube paint. Somebody made it, nobody knows who did it, but all I know is that I never really tapped into that world because monitor guy in the day, had no interest in projectors, and realized there was a whole nother world of entertainment involving these new projectors with all these different peripherals on the back of them. And I did my research. And there was a lot of people at that time in really, really super dark environments, and all it came down to just giant screen. That was it, just having this massive giant screen to game on. Didn't make a difference if you didn't have any room in your bedroom with this big giant screen and projector, and that was the thing. And man, I thought it was so incredible to game on something that big. So, you know, I go to Home Depot. I get the ingredients from my buddy, and I go to Home Depot. And as I'm in Home Depot, the guy comes back and said, unfortunately, you're a little late. Some of this stuff is not in existence anymore. And there was no other place to go where everything to get. I didn't know anything I could go. It was on the ingredient sheet. That was it. So I was about to walk out the door and think, I'm selling the projector and I'm done. I'm going back to my monitors. At least I can afford one of them. So as I'm making my way out, the Lord spoke to me. And the Lord said to me at the end of the day, he said, this is what you're going to do. And what he told me to pick out, that's what I picked out. I went to Home Depot. I picked out all the stuff he told me to go get. And then I went back to the cash register and paid it. I used the last of my $30 because when I told you I was tap broke, I spent a ton of money on this new PC I built, and it was costly. So yeah, this is the board that had a 2011 server board, 256 gigs of PC 3000 OC, so that was really expensive. Had 4 12-core processors, custom liquid cooling system in, and it had a terabyte. Mine, a terabyte back then was gigantic. But anyway, yes, a terabyte of hard drive space. So it was a lot of money I put into this machine to just end up with that screen looking like that. Anyway, so I made the paint, the last of my $30. My buddy drove me up there, paid him some gas money, and then got back and started mixing this up. And then I started doubting, like, man, what if this doesn't work? This is the last of my $30 right here. Like, what am I going to do after this, right? And I can't fix this. I'm stuck with it. So, Lord told me to be still, be calm, and just paint. And that's what I did. I painted it in. And the first thing I saw was Futurama. I never forget, the one they're all sitting in the movie theater and they're looking at the screen. The colors were absolutely gorgeous. And I had my lights on while I was doing it and didn't realize my lights were on. I need to watch all these demonstrations in dark environments. And the screen looked gorgeous. And my buddy comes in and he looks at the screen and says, huh, you should sell this. And here I am today. And that's how it all started. That's how everything started from there. And from that day on, the Lord just continued to speak to me and tell me how to put products together. He was teaching me and giving me the knowledge and understanding how to do my demonstrations, all my demonstrations on how they're done. He was telling me, you're going to do it this way, you're going to do that way, you're going to go to Home Depot, you're going to pick up a vinyl shade, you're going to turn that into a projection screen, you're going to buy a lamp, you're going to turn that into a projection screen. So that's why I have all these crazy videos on my account of doing all this crazy stuff. We could jump from this to that. Like the videos I just shot, we just did videos on the floor, videos on the flex, videos on the wall, because we just do all types of technology in different environments and different settings, because the Lord tells me how to do all this stuff and I just do exactly what he tells me to do. And this is how it all works out. So right now, technology here from our Lord and Savior. I'm gonna go play this right here. Did my whatchamacallit fire up? Oh, it did fire up. It did fire up. I gotta change that out to something else, because that intro is Hades, and I'm not supposed to have that. So anyway, yeah. So long story short, like I said, anything we needed, anything, projectors, whatever. He opened up a lot of doors for us to meet a lot of very important people that allowed my company to get to where it was now. I got a chance to meet some of the most amazing customers on the face of the planet. I met a lot of cool people. I met people in Scotland. I literally have screens everywhere in the world. Just about everywhere in the world I have a screen at. Just about. I even shipped to Madagascar. I shipped everywhere. I've been to Scotland, I've been to Rome, I've been to Italy, I've been to France, I've been to Hong Kong, Japan, Tokyo, you name it. I've got screens everywhere. This is my screen paint's literally everywhere in the entire world. It's literally there. Because mind you, We ship for free. We ship overseas for free, anywhere in the world. So of course, you know, people look at the technology. And one of the things I love the most is when I get a customer from overseas, and the first thing he says is, well, how much is the shipping going to cost me? And I go, oh, no, it's free. It's absolutely free. We pay for it. We have never, ever charged our customers ever for shipping, ever. Never. I paid all shipping out of my pocket for 14 years to my customers. And then as we went along, we started the batch numbers and all that stuff. That all came from haters. Haters, you have basically tweaked our technology to where it is today. The batch numbers, the tons of live demonstrations, the backing the products up on every single level. You guys are responsible for our outstanding test records because you guys were the ones who pushed us by challenging us, and we took those challenges and conquered. You're responsible for the black on blacks. Yeah, those demonstrations we do against black paint that we now force that energy in your direction now that you don't like. It's kind of like you fired this fireball at us and we caught it, charged it up, made it much more powerful and threw it right back at you. But the problem is you can't handle the hit. And that's what you did. Everything you challenged us with, we just conquered it. Of course, it's God's technology at the end of the day. It's going to be to do exactly what it's designed to do. But when we throw it back out, yeah, all we see is destruction and mayhem on the other end because they can't seem to basically handle the impact when it hits. They challenge us to buy their products. I bought products. I got receipts right here under my desk in my PC of cancellations you would not believe at the end of the day. Those are the ones you've seen. There's other cancellations that we got. They're unbelievable. eBay cancellations, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, and it ain't the first time I've had to go against someone. I've been doing this for quite some time. So I've been in all kinds of forum sites, ABS forums, Projector Central. I've been to all those different sites. I made all different types of gray paint. The Lord bless us to be able to develop all different types of gray paint. I mean, I know so many different combinations to make it a gray screen paint is literally not funny. Let me see. Charcoal technology, charcoal gray. Yeah, we've been there. We got tons of those. We've got videos all over the place of those. Gunmetal. Yeah, I've actually developed a couple of gunmetals so advanced that I've actually used them to beat other gunmetal screens. Yeah, certified, high grade, professional gunmetal screens, none of the gunmetal paints that, again, can't call yourself gunmetal unless you actually challenge gunmetal. Black technology, please. We have so much technology on black technology, it's mind-bending. You know, we got people saying that we make, which one are you talking about? Do you know how many products we make in black? It's a lot. Then we got the invisible, we got that stuff behind us, which again, I'm still trying to figure that out today because that's a humongous blessing back there. That thing turns a gray screen unwatchable. I've never had a black technology yet before. I'm just baffled by that because in fact I told you that we showed our white levels on any form of gray screen whatsoever, even certified, it blends right into the screen. But that one behind us, it alters the color of it, it changes it, which means it makes the screen completely unwatchable. And actually like it's drawing the color out of it. Gallery. We're not doing gallery. I'm going to do free battle. So yeah, he's taught us to not only be able to understand our technology, to be able to test it on every level we can possibly think of, to have it pass. We did a lot of live stream demonstrations showing our products passing on every level, more demonstrations, and again, like a lot of people right now selling products on the market. But not only that, the knowledge on how to basically build entire environments in order to show off our technology. I built a dedicated theater room, I built a couple of gaming rooms, a few movie theater rooms. I did one at 235.1. We did a couple of those screens, all different kinds of fixed frame screens, motorized projection screens. I custom designed a couple of motorized projection screens. I did the Apocalypse, which you just saw on the YouTube, basically the projector modified. I did a Pac-Man. I did a Retro Pi. So I did a bunch of them. So not only did he teach us to be able to go in and develop, work on motorized projection screens, but to learn how to alter and change the screens at will, which I think is absolutely amazing. You know, they've given us that type of ability to do that. The black technology, we've been doing black technology, oh my goodness, since 11 years. 11 years in black technology. We had a screen paint called a 3.0, which was basically a first version of our black technology. And then we started with a company called Digital 4K Crystal Onyx. So we were blessed to be able to have so many different levels of black technology. We did this something called Nova It was a micro mesh technology we engineered. We've done rear projection technology. I was kind of curious about rear projection technology. Anything that I wanted to learn or understand, the Lord has blessed us to be able to know it and understand it. And that's why when you look on my page and it says God is amazing, it's because all our technology came from God. All of it. Everything we have comes from God. And that's why I can sit here and game on my screen, big gigantic screen I have here, my two massive 116, it was actually 1610 giant screens are designed for multiple applications like mini projectors, small projectors as we built it for. Oh, I did multi-projector setups too. Did that too. Multiple projector setups. So yeah, we've done just about everything. Have I been here yet? Yeah, I've been there. I'm trying to find a place I have not been to. Ooh. Have I been here? Doesn't look familiar. Let me see. I've been here or not. Yeah. These boots are made for walking. I stand over here a little bit. I don't think I've been in this environment yet. Now, mind you, the beautiful thing about the technology we engineer here is our whole point on why I got into this business. As I got into this business, and I showed you how, the Lord blessed us to be able to get here. But the reason why I got into this business is because to make the playing field, oh, he's on fire too, to make the playing field, the level of the playing field for customers, because customers are getting ripped off. They're being told that they have to be in dark ambient light environments. They're being told that they have to calibrate projectors. They're being told that they have to spend the money for these expensive machines that cost way too much money. He is beating the daylights out of me. Way too much money. And you're going to spend that much money for a projector and you're stuck in the dark. Gee whiz, what kind of special effect was that? I learned that one right there for that character. So customers, yeah, they're getting ripped off. These screens that I watch outside on these white projection screens, absolutely horrible. I mean, it's just horrible. And the sad thing about it is customers believe that they have to put up with this nonsense because, that's what they're told. And it's not true. You don't have to be stuck in dark environments. You don't have to spend the money for an expensive projector. My projector behind me cost me $50. As a matter of fact, I had this goal where I can't buy any projectors that have to be under the $200 mark. So everything I have here is under $200. I didn't have to calibrate, none of that. I get beautiful, fantastic colors. And as I showed you, even in the dark, we can wash a gray and white screen out completely with this technology. At 50 lumens, we can basically generate a beautiful image where a gray and white screen can't function. And this is the reason why if you're dealing with gray and white screens, this is a screen that's going to cost you a lot more money due to the fact that it requires a much more expensive projector to work. On top of that, where you got my special? Get out of there. On top of that, not only is it going to cost you more money to run it off a gray screen, but your environment's going to change dramatically. You're going to be stuck in a super dark environment trying to get a screen to function. Even at ultra short thermal, you're sitting there that close to a screen. So I showed you at 50 lumens, they don't run. We had like over 70 projectors in my collection. We could not get a gray and white screen to run on any of those projectors at all. The problem is that you will have them on standalones. When they're on standalones by themselves, you really can't see the difference. You put them against another high-performance screen, you will see a massive difference. And I have tested all these screens against these high-end certified screens. There's a huge difference between a $5,000 screen and gray screen paint. There's a massive difference. That's why they don't do those demonstrations. That's why you never see them do demonstrations against high certified screens. Number one of the things I see the most when I see gray and white screens doing demonstrations, they will stick them in dark environments. Why are they in dark environments? This screen with a 0.8 and 0.9 gain, which should not be in that environment at all, period. I'm going to change over to this other guy. Because, man, he was cool. He had some interesting moves. I'm going to change to him. And get him. I'm going to learn his style. Get this guy. Oh, my guy's in there. All right. So, if you look at my customer demonstrations speak for themselves. our customers are not trapped in dark environments. They don't have to worry about calibrating. They don't have to spend the money for expensive projectors and stuff like that. And that evens the playing field. It does. Because it gives people options to be to do better things. And that's why we deal with projector mapping and interactive technology and all that stuff, because it gives customers a chance to be able to get more from their projector investments instead of just getting ripped off and being stuck in the dark. Most importantly, you want to make sure your product's not going to match any form of house paints, any kind of store-bought paints that you can get out of a store, because again, it rips off the customer. Customer sits there and spends $80, $90, or $200, $300 for a container of paint, and just to find out that they could have did the same thing at a store. So that's why, like I said, it's very important to we have black on black demonstrations, testing our products, and they should have gray versus gray, or charcoal gray versus gray, or gunmetal versus gunmetal, or something at the end of the day, something that shows that the product does well. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go to. Is this underwater? Oh, I think it is underwater. Let me see. Underground layer. I know this one. I haven't been on this one yet. Oh, got a new character. Batch number verification. That's very important. I can't express that enough, how important a batch number verification is. Batch number verification is, we started that on our screen paints because this protects our company, it protects our product, it protects the customer too on top of that, because it's a guarantee to the customer that the product is going to work. This is a product that before we sell the product, we make sure that it is tested right before. Actually, we test it before it's sold, which is very important to have those tests ready to go. And we also too have it. This character is amazing. Let's pause for a minute. Wait, can I pause in this, or do it basically so jack me up? Sometimes games you pause and you're still in live because you're playing online. But anyway, as I said before, the batch number is very important, because the batch number basically helps the customer know that he or she, their product is being tested before it's shipped out. So we already have test demonstrations on the product before it's sold, and then the batch numbers allow us to be able to show the product being tested before it's actually shipped to the customer. That way the customer has a guarantee 100 that it's working. Now, again, if a person's not willing to do these tests, then you don't have a guarantee that your product is going to work. And on top of that, what involves in a batch number verification is what we call black versus black. You have to do those demonstration tests right there on live so the customer can see it. I forgot to add, they must be live. So you have to be to show that off, because the customer needs to know they're getting a 100% grade A screen paint, and it's not going to match something that he or she can get out of a Home Depot. So that's why it's very important. And we've seen people match paints in demonstrations. I got to remember to put the blacklist down here so you can check it out. And we've caught them deleting videos off their account, trying to hide these demonstrations, and you shouldn't be doing that at all, period, because it's wrong. So that's why batch numbers are very important. Now, if someone wants to file a false claim against our company, we can defend ourselves in court, or if it goes to court, if it goes to PayPal, wherever it goes to, because we can show that the product was properly tested before we sold it to the customer. We can show previous tests or old tests showing that the product was tested before we sold it to the customer. In fact, before we could sell it to the customer, it has to be tested. We have to make sure it works. That's what we're doing behind it. We're testing technology behind us. We have to make sure it works properly. What does it do? The tests are extremely important. What people do skip out on their tests. This is why when you look at their specification sheets, they're lacking, because they don't know anything about their product. They don't know a lot of things about their product. I've seen things where people say, well, the product's weatherproof. What's weatherproof? What do you mean it's weatherproof? All right, like what time of the day does this thing trigger off? Do you have any demonstrations of this thing in extreme cold where it crack or peel? The surface may become rigid, and that could cause the surface to crack or peel. Extreme heat could be issues. You paint something extreme heat could do all kinds of stuff to a screen outside. Crack, peel, bubble, all kinds of stuff. What if you instruct them to paint over a fixed frame screen. Now that's a different type of vinyl right there. It's kind of a soft, stretchy vinyl. That vinyl can actually build up steam and moisture between it when sun's hitting the back of it, and like, as I said before, can cause these air pockets to pop up in the middle of your screen, and then you got this kind of bubble effect all over your screen. You pop one of these, you got moon craters all over your screen, and that's going to be virtually impossible to remove because it's gonna tear your screen if you try to scrape it off. It's gonna cause damage. What about the velvet border around the screen? That can cause damage. Water gets into that, it'll seep. You ever wear a pair of velvet sneakers or a pair of suede sneakers and you take them off and your socks are almost the same color as the sneakers? Yeah, it bleeds. That's what happens, and it stops going through that bleeding process, and then your socks start looking normal again. That's why you get brand new suede sneakers. I had a habit of buying Pumas and Adidas like that. I like the suede all the time, and it would happen to my socks all the time. The first time wearing, they would bleed. Well, this will happen to your screen. Your screen's border would take water, and that water will seep all down your side of your screen, which will cause these little black lines. And I've had that happen to you before. I've had to figure out a solution, how to fix the problem. So that's why that testing is extremely important. Caliber of projectors being used outside. Ultra short throws, long throws, picos, all that's important to see all those tests. You got to show white levels, you got to show color levels, you got to show contrast levels, you got to show all that because you have to be able to see for yourself and also be able to back this up 100%. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with a screen when it's outside. A screen, I feel, outside has to be outside at least 1 year before you can actually call your product weatherproof. If you haven't been out there for 1 year, if you don't have tests showing this product being outside on multiple levels, then your product can't be weatherproof. Because you run the risk of your stuff cracking and peeling. That's what you run the risk. Anything could happen to it. So again, not a good idea to label yourself weatherproof. People say you can use it outside. Got a problem right there. What time of the day can it be used outside? Now, in order for me to find out what time my screens activate, I had to be outside like most of the day to sit there with a camera and just check the screen, check the screen, check the screen, check the screen to see what the activation time was. Got to do this in daylight saving hours because the time changes. You have to be able to do this in regular hours because time is going to change between maybe 6 and 7 o'clock. Maybe your screen operates at 7, maybe it operates at 6. Once you got that projector down, now you got to grab another one. You got to go through so many projectors when you do that demonstration to show exactly, because not all projectors are going to project the same way. So all that got to be done. Okay, get to collecting. You're going to need about 70 or more projectors to do that one right there. Then you're going to have to do size, which means screens change by size. So meaning if you have a screen that's 50 inches, a 50-inch screen is going to have a better chance of displaying than a screen at 100 inches. A 100-inch screen may have a better chance of displaying than a screen size of 250 inches. Because a 250-inch screen is a big screen at the end of the day, and light's going to make contact with that screen regardless, because it's over 11 feet tall. And I've done quite a few of those. So it's a number of things you have to know. Different materials act different. Inflatable screens. Inflatable screens is a whole different category of screen by itself. Literally, extremely temperamental. This is a screen that's not going to be able to stand alone. You're not going to have constant power running through this thing. It's like a bouncy house. Wind hits it, it'll take off somewhere. Something can pop it, put a hole in it. So this is a screen most likely what you're going to do is you're going to deflate all the air out of it. You're going to flatten it, fold it up, put it in a bag, store it in the garage. That's what's going to happen to it. So that means that the screen frame itself, that's used to it. But the surface that you have, on the other hand, is a little different. So if they make it out of a different form of PVC vinyl or plastic, the problem you have is that if you paint this with a certain kind of paint or any kind of paint, it's going to cause the screen to stick together, and it's going to be hard for it to separate because the moisture pushing back is going to cause it to fuse together. That's one problem. Another problem, cracking and peeling. They crack and peel at a very high rate. It's another problem. Say you get the front and rear mesh that they have, the white version of it. That's a really interesting surface too. Because if you coat that, what happens is light will pass through that thing so fast, it'll fade your screen on both sides. Unless you have this technology designed to filter light. But if you don't, light will pass through it and the screen will wash out. Now I saw that happen to one of the screens that we were testing. When we painted it, light hit it, the screen disappeared. When we went in and took a piece of cardboard and put it behind the back of the screen, the image popped up. That allowed us to see right there from the door that the technology we engineered is only good for front projection only. It couldn't work for a screen that had both front and rear because the light passed through. Now we have a technology that's engineered for light to transfer through it. We can do it. See? Takes time. Got to know all that stuff, man. Just be giving people just bogus ideas off the top of your head, because if you do that, this is going to cause problems. And inflatable screens are expensive screens, because that surface that they make, they have a custom tailor for that particular size. So if you basically mess that up on a customer, the customer is going to have a really rough time trying to get that surface back. Yeah, because it's kind of hard to get the replacement. Unless you get a company that has really good replacements on their surface, and then again, it's extra money going to take out of their pocket anyway to replace something that you damaged. Rear projection. Oh, I can't explain that one enough. We do a lot of rear projection technology. There are people who fake rear projection on so many levels. Either it's dark behind the back of the screen, where basically light doesn't transfer through correctly because it might go dark on this side, and they might have a hard time transferring an image to transfer from one end to the next. When you do rear projection, you have to show an all-white image. It has to be clean transfer, which means there can be no spots, no imperfections, no craters, no nothing. It has to be a clean push right through. Because again, with the problem you have with the rear projection, any form of imperfections you have in the front are going to show right through the screen. And this is going to cause problems. What some people try to do, because they can't get a clean white transfer, they'll camouflage it with a lot of stuff, so that way you can't see the imperfections in the surface. Another problem they don't tell you about is basically lamp glare. Because lamp glare is going to push up on your projector, it's going to hit the screen, you'll see this blinding light pushing through the other end. They can't tell you that basically when it comes to clear transfers, that the type of projectors that are required. So when it comes to the darker ones, you can use only certain projectors with that also too. So again, that's a whole category. If you're looking at anyone that says they do clear projection or rear projection, there's at least supposed to be somewhere between, we do 8,000 easy. We do 8,000 easy on our specification sheet. I can do 8,000 easy on a specification sheet. That's easy, and we don't have enough room. We'll have to build a showroom page to put the rest of the stuff on, because there's so much stuff we have to show you. Like when we do videos, we don't do one video a day. We do like 10 videos a day. You know why? Because there is so much stuff that you are literally supposed to see, and projection entertainment, it's not even funny. You don't even see half the stuff you're supposed to see. So when you see that one demonstration with the projector, blah, 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 that's nothing, man. You're supposed to see way beyond that. You're supposed to see color levels, contrast levels, white levels, projector swap outs, the whole 9 yards, everything. Fully lit environment, lights out, the whole thing. You're not even getting the whole full piece of it all, none of it all, period. So yeah, that's why we try to give you as much as possible. But in rear projection, yeah, you should at least have 5,000. 5,000 in your specification sheet explaining what rear projection does. You should have it in there. If it's not in there, you don't know. They don't know what they're doing at all. Period. They don't know what they're doing. And that's something. That's a surface you don't want to mess up, because if you mess up that surface, this can become extremely expensive, because rear projections are not cheap. Well, the screens are the materials that they put it on. You're talking about fiberglass, plexiglass, you're talking about glass windows. That stuff is expensive. You make a mistake on that and you damage that surface, you're going to go to court. Someone's going to sue you at the end of the day, because that's a very expensive surface. You can't fix that if you mess it up. If you mess it up in the front, it's messed up in the back. And you're not in reversing that. There's no way to reverse it once you damage it. So you have to know what you're talking about when you're dealing with that particular surface. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like I said, a lot of stuff you're supposed to know. A lot of stuff. So that's why we're experienced in that field. That's why we show projector mapping and all this crazy stuff that we do, because we've done all this stuff. And of course, screen's got to be weatherproof, and you can submerge them underwater. Oh, God, great value. Here. Yeah. I miss my giant screen. I play on it from time to time. Oh, we in big picture mode. We are in big picture mode. Alright, so we're going to have to come out all together. Exit. Big picture mode. Okay. Giving someone a review for an excellent projector sold. The guy who sold me the Cumi did an amazing job. Don't you start with that. I'm watching you, buddy boy. Taco. Oh. Why do you wait till I get halfway through the video? I'm almost done to be doing that one. Don't do that, man. Come on, not on camera. Nobody wants to see that. Not that. He did something else on camera he shouldn't be doing. He knows better than that. Yeah, so long story short, before Taco gets into his bad stuff at the end of the day, yeah, I'm looking at you, buddy. All that I mentioned, there's a lot more than that. A whole lot more that you're supposed to know at the end of the day. Things you need to ask for, and like I said, the reason why we got into this field, to develop better, more advanced technology that the customer at the end of the day doesn't have to get ripped off. They get exactly what they paid for. Most importantly, they're not forced into buying expensive machines that they're not even going to get the full quality out of that machine to begin with. Like I showed you, at 50 lumens, we can't get that to read on a gray and white screen. It's not going to happen. So with that being said, say somebody has to do, we're going to do a desk display, we're running these little projectors right here. This is not going to work on a gray and white screen. It's not going to function in here at all, period. It's not going to function. Lights off, wash it out with a flashlight off a cell phone. That's how poor the... All right. Come on. I knew you were going to do it. I told you this weird stuff. Come on. Come on, let's go. Come on. Thank you. No one needs to see your weirdo acts. Come over here. Over there. There, thank you. Jeez, I told you. I warned you ahead of time. He's been doing some weirdo acts. I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Go over there. Thank you. Yeah, how many times do you clean yourself a day? You clean yourself like 8 times a day, man. I'll give you some treats when we're done. I told you. I warned you out ahead of time on camera. I say he's going to do something weird on camera. I told you. I called him before he's going to do it. All right, so let's get back to this. Yeah, you need to ask those questions. The batch number verification, you need to ask for that. We're pushing batch number verifications everywhere we go. Showroom, where we're going to be at, batch number verifications. I'm going to be educating customers out there. I'm educating customers on here. Batch number verifications. They want to argue with you about a batch number, you go elsewhere because you need a guarantee. You need to know what you're going to be getting at the end of the day. You do not want to get ripped off. And as for these people out here who said to the day, well, hey, look, let's go to court. YouTube talk is done. Let's go to court. You know where I'm at, right? Okay, then. Get the papers going. I'll see you in court. That's it. And then other than that, then keep it quiet. That's all. Because you got people out there say, well, what about you? What about me? My stuff's all tested. I can walk into a courtroom any day of the week. Any day of the week. Can you do it? No, you can't do it. So with that being said, guess what? I've been saying this for years. 5 years into this, I've been saying this. Get a lawyer. Sue me. Nothing. Not a thing. Nothing. All right, then. And when I get my showroom display, you're more than welcome to come down and see it. There you go. See, I can do this every single day. So this is what I do. So anytime, like I said, our contract that we have, we'll send out a contract, sign it. Mind you, the consequences behind those things are brutal. And they are brutal. So we develop these contracts, and we have people who are jealous of our work. And they have done some, I told you, we got people going to court pretty soon for lawsuits and some prison time for doing some stuff they should have done. But anyway, they felt the need, because they didn't want to do the demonstrations, they don't want to work hard, they want to cut corners, they want to rip off consumers, and we're the ones out here getting the job done. They thought it'd be better to probably try to discredit our work at the end of the day, which didn't go well for them. So, long story short, we put out these videos called Match and Better. So Match and Better is like the promo demonstrations that we put out, we show off, and we challenge them to match and better our demonstrations. If I'm such a fake, I'm such a phony, shouldn't that be easy to take down? For some reason, you guys be struggling. You're having like a really hard time. You got people closing down their websites and people pulling eBay listings and returning money back to our account. And why would you return money back to an account who somebody's supposed to be a scam artist? Shouldn't that be an easy person to take down? Unless I'm the real deal and you're the fake, because that's what it looks like. So with that being said, I shouldn't have your cancellations. You should have mine. And you don't have one cancellation from me. So there's that. So with that being said, we designed this special contract. Now this contract was looked over, attorney went through the whole entire thing. And this contract is basically, we'll send one out to email it to you. We don't have to have your address. We can send it right to your email through certified PDF. I can send it right to you. And the show was transferred to you. That's your email right there. Now, from there on in, as I said before, that if you feel the need that we're not real and this is all fake, you sign that contract. You don't sign it in 3 days. And if you say, hey, email, I have a private investigator. We can track your whereabouts. That's not hard to do. It's a digital era, please. You leave a footprint like there's no tomorrow around here. So yeah, easy to track someone down. So yeah, we'll send it court papers to your front door. Letting you know that, hey, we didn't get that document back in 3 days, so this is what's going to happen. I'm going to send a process server to your front door and take it to court and sue you for $1 million. Because you made statements about my company that are not true. So here's the thing. If what you said is true, then you would have no problem signing the document, right? And going to court. Unless what you said was fake and not true, and you can't send that document. You can't sign it. Do you know what that tells me? When you can't sign it, that means we can hit you for more money. Because we know you can't back it up. And this is where we ask for prison time. Because we take it to federal. Because it's considered to be fraud against our business. And this is where we request a judge for prison time. Because that's what's going to happen after the lawsuit. After the lawsuit, you lose it. Then they're going to ask us, would we like to proceed by pressing criminal charges against you? And we're going to say yes. Which you're probably hoping we say no. So, this is what you do. Don't say things you can't back up. You heard that line before. Don't write a check you're not prepared to cash. That's what you do. That's how it works in the real world. So, there we are right there. So, again, if I'm such as fake and phony, then we should have got our black paint, which I did request. Never got it. So, there's a lawsuit behind that one, by the way, in jail time. That involves the black paint fiasco nonsense. What else? That's basically about it. So what they'll do is they'll tell customers that we're fake and this, that, and the other. Oh, making statements that we're using special camera equipment, I will let you hold my phone in court. You don't get that right, that can cost you some jail time and a very serious lawsuit because you made statements that I have special software on my phone. So you can hold my phone and show us how it's done. Here, I got one of these right here, just for that occasion. You know what this is? You know what these are? This cable's designed to do. See that little edge right here? This is so I can plug this into my cell phone, right? And we can hook it up to a projector. And you're going to show us in the courtroom how I use special software on my phone. I want you to find it. And if you can't find that, you can't prove that in the day, that's going to cost you a lot of money. Like a couple $1 million that you don't have. Now, people laugh and say, well, you can sue me for $1 million. That's not going to harm me. Oh, yeah, it is. We get a freaking, what do you call it? Execute judgment and throw a collector on you. Yeah, we can go through your paycheck, income tax, insurance, whatever you have. Diminish your credit, take your homes, cars, houses, whatever. If you own it to the bank, you won't own it from the bank anymore. You'll pay us so much money back you can't afford to pay the payments on that house. Then they'll foreclose and then they would buy it. So, no, you are broke. Literally, like I said, it's like trying to outrun a tree. If you're not going to outrun it, it's going to crush you in the process. That's why they hit you with these substantial, insane amounts of money, because they know darn well you can't pay this back, and the interest alone will destroy you. They know you can't pay that back. Like Mayor Giuliani, they sued him for $149 million. They know he doesn't have that kind of money, but they knew they did it in the day to destroy whatever credit or whatever he had going. It's just going to be going. And then you get flagged because that shows up on every computer system everywhere that you owe a ton of money to a debt collector. Yeah, good luck on paying that off. And every job you get, we get a piece of that money. That means before you get paid, your payroll service, yeah, they contact them. They let them know, hey, this guy owes us money. So money will come out of your check before you get it. So you'll be working for us. So you really want that kind of life at the end of the day? That's why it does not pay to do dumb stuff on YouTube. Here's the kicker. My channel is only set up for 18 and up, which means I have all adults on my channel. There's no kids on here. All adults. And you are people at the end of the day who have responsibilities. You got a wife, you got family, kids, whatever you got at the end of the day, but you have responsibilities. And you're taking your grown behind on a YouTube channel, social media, and basically trying to threaten and slander and commit all types of crimes on social media and thinking at the end of the day that you're not being watched, that nothing's being documented because you have fake accounts and because you use fake this and fake, no one can, oh please, 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 don't do that. I just got off the phone with later in the day, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He used to work for the FBI, and he's a computer guy. And it's put a nice way of putting he's a computer guy. And he says it's so funny that people actually believe that. It's hilarious. You know, there's a guy who went out there on a fake post, and he threatened, you know who? I don't call him the president because he's not my president, but he threatened him. And they sat there and said that they found him. They don't know how, but they found him. But they know how. They've been finding him. They found him. Just like that. Secret Service came in and FBI found him just like that. Had him within a day. You're in the digital era. That's where you live at. Now, we're in the era of 1920, 1930 there. No. There you go. But we're in the digital era. You can be tracked and found. The difference is if someone finds me at the end of the day, you're just finding me. If we find you at the end of the day, there's a good chance in the day you committed crimes against my company. There are lawyers and there are judges and there are police involved in that. That's what that means. So if your little black letter that pops up in your mailbox, that'll be from us. We're going to do the black letters. That's what I'm going to do. I like the black letter idea. So you find me, that's nothing. Because I don't commit any crimes. I didn't do anything wrong. Knock yourself out. But if we find you at the end of the day, that means that the reason why we hired that that investigator to track the whereabouts of you means you committed some crimes against my company, and we're going to see you in court. And if we see you in court, that means it's going to cost you time, which you don't have. Most people don't have time. Time goes quick. And it's going to cost you a lot of money in the process. We're going to sue you for a lot of money, more than you ever have. We're going to sue you for that. And we're going to win it. You know why? Because we have people watching everything to make sure that no one does this or that. When we take them to court, we got a ton of evidence against you to prosecute you. Look at the blacklist. Blacklist shows a ton of evidence of people that we have about to sue. So again, not worth it. You're grown men and women, or not, it's not women, sorry, it's men doing this. You're grown men at the end of the day, learn some responsibility and stop doing dumb stuff. Because mind you, not only are you going to lose freedom, not only are you going to lose money, but you're going to lose your self-respect. Because these court records, we want them public. I want them public so everybody can read everything that went on in that courtroom. It'll be everywhere. Your family members will read about it. Your kids will read about it. Your friends will read about it. It'll be everywhere. And that's going to be embarrassing. So, giddy up. But until then, like I said, we had to do all that stuff to protect our company, and it's the stuff you have to go through. Anybody in business, if you think for a hot second that everything's going to be peaches and cream in business, it's not. You're going to run into people like this. And you're going to run into people that are going to be jealous of your work, jealous of what you do, and they're going to try all kinds of smear campaigns to try to make you look bad. The important thing is never engage into their activities. Document everything they do. And when they cross that line, and they will, take them to court and sue them. That's what you do. And that's what we did. We sat back and gathered information on them. That's what you do. Don't get involved in that nonsense. Don't go doing the same thing back to them. Don't do that. Because that'll get your court case, your lawsuit canceled out. Let them go back and do their dirt at the end of the day. And you monitor everything they do. Record and document, picture everything. I got so many pictures on this other fellow for touching our copyrights. He's looking at, let me put it this way. When I say 80 years in jail, I'm being nice when I say it's way over that. It's way over that. We're way over that. It's way over that. It's way over that. It's serious. So yeah, he's looking at probably he's going to spend the rest of his life behind bars. That's why I said don't engage in that nonsense. Say he had a copyright. I'm not going near that with a 10-foot pole because I know exactly what those things do. Yep. So yeah. Anyway, we're going to keep doing what we do, which is developing amazing technology. And I'm pretty sure that in the process of our timeline of what we're going to be doing, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be suing a few people. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be dragging some people in and out of court. And yeah, because people do dumb stuff. They don't learn. They do very dumb stuff. But I think I'm going to be nice this time around. I'm going to send out cease and desist orders. And if you don't want to take it from there, we can clearly show the courts that we did give you the opportunity. You didn't take it, and then we go from there. lawsuit's going to be hefty. So, bottom line is, if you don't believe it's real, if you get online and you buy it, at the end of the day, you don't like it, and it's freedom of speech. Knock yourself out, I don't care. But when you start doing things like mixing stuff with it and making false accusations and claiming that we're scammers and rip-off artists, we'll see in court. And we could all talk in front of a judge. So, that's one of the things we had to do. When I thought I got into this field, I thought it would be basically us developing nice technology. We do that. We good technology for our customers and stuff. That'd be nice to do and keep the prices affordable so they can afford it. But you got to remember, you're still going to have people at the end of the day, like these guys, they're going to try to attack you and tear you down. Stand your ground, do your job correctly, collect all the information you can on these people, and when the time comes and you got enough evidence, take them to court and clean their clock. That's what you do. And you move on. It's going to be a business experience you're going to learn in life. Everywhere you learn in life, you're going to have somebody trying to attack or come after your business. That you're always going to have to go through. I got people right now starting business. Like, how rough is it? It's not rough, but you got to remember, you got to defend your castle. You have to. And one thing you have to do, don't cut corners. Don't cut corners. Don't do that, because you cut corners, what's going to happen is you're going to leave holes in your armor. You're going to weaken your armor. And this will make it easier from the base to try to pull out all kinds of bad stuff on you. Say, well, he did this and we caught him doing that. Yeah, don't do that at all, period. Do it all by the book, do it right. If your armor is impenetrable, well, I can't say the word correctly. If your armor is untouchable and you do it the right way, then nobody can touch you. Most importantly, our technology comes from God. So we know our technology is by the book and no one can touch us. You don't see them drawing up contracts, do you? No. Because they already know from the door. You waste my time and I walk into a courtroom, you're going to owe me money when I leave out of there. I'm going to file another lawsuit against you for wasting my time. And that's going to cost you. And you know you can't back that up, so that can go well. Counter lawsuit. There we go. We'll be looking at the fishies. Where are we on here with the whatchamacallit? That's basically about it. You got to protect your company. Never think at the end of the day you can have a sweet little flower shop on the corner. You can be liked with everybody in the neighborhood, but I guarantee you, bar none, there's somebody in that neighborhood that's hating on you. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. There's always one or two of them in there. And that's why they do something dirty to you, record and document it all. Don't engage into their nonsense. Until then, whether you like it or not, we're here to stay. Whether you like the naysayers speaking to you, whether you like it or not, we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. And I'm going to continue developing the best technology we can at a price that everybody can afford. We're going to continue to do things outside the box, things that no one else is doing. We're going to continue to keep breaking the mold, keep rising higher and higher. We're going to keep doing it. And if you got a problem with that, you take it up with my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Because that's who protects my company at the end of the day. Like I said, never met a man that could go through God. I love this, man. I love this whole thing, this car floating like this. Man, would we ever have technology like this? We don't figure out a way to jack each other up with it, because, man, this is responsibility. That technology right there is responsibility right there. You know, because you're drinking behind a vehicle. Can you imagine the nightmare in that? Wait a minute. So wait, if you have a car that flies, doesn't that mean technically you would have to have a polished license too? Yeah, I haven't thought about that too. Think about that. If cars could fly, that means you would have to have two types of licenses now. You need one for the ground and you need one for the air. So you have to get a pilot's license. Good luck on that. You know how difficult it is to get a pilot's license? That is not an easy license. You have to learn navigation and all that stuff like that, latitude and all that stuff. Yeah, that's a whole different type of license. Oh, crap, I didn't thought about that. Yeah, you have a different class license. You have to have a pilot's license because your car can fly. You can't be flying around in airspace out there. You know, there's a whole different form of air traffic out there. That whole section up there, it's like the same thing on the ground, but it's up in the air. And there's certain areas you can't be at. Yeah, that's true. Certain airspace you can't be at. Then you can't fly outside the country. Oh, yeah, there'd be, see what I mean, the complications behind all that? Because then, like I said, you really wouldn't have to have, technically, to be checked for anything. See, that's what I'm talking about, that people want to do air flight and travel from A to B, but you got to understand the technical stuff behind this, because, again, when you go on an airplane, TSA checks you to make sure you're not carrying any weapons, explosive, drugs, and all that stuff. How would that apply if you have a vehicle that flies? There's no TSA in your garage. You get in your garage, your car whoop, takes off. So how do you control that? You can't. Or if someone commits a crime, they can leave the country easily. They can just take off. You got to remember, with technology, there's always going to be a downside to it. There's upside and downside of technology, up and downside of technology. So yeah, that would be interesting, because how in the world would you be able to? Unless your vehicles are AI controlled, which would be the only way, and it has a way of scanning the system to see if you had any contraband or whatever, or they can scan your system before it goes over. So maybe your system would just basically kill switch. They can kill your system, and they can basically scan your vehicle to see if you have anything on you. That's the only way I can think they could do it, because other than that, there's no TSA in your garage. You just walk out of your garage with a bag of cocaine, sorry to put it that way, and get in your car and boom, take off to another country. There's no way to stop you, literally. Unless they have a way, or if you're going past a border check line you go through, and they're able to stop your vehicle and scan you from there, that's the only way I can think about doing that. It'd just be, had to bring your vehicle down. I don't know how they would do it, but I guess, I don't know, that's the only way I can think they could do it. You literally would have to have that, because that would be extremely dangerous. You can have people bringing in weapons, all kinds of stuff, and you would never be able to stop them. You can't control all that. You'd have to have this massive border. And that's crazy, because how long would the wall have to be in each section? Because that means you'd be to find a way to get around it. If the line's here, then you could just fly all the way around there and go that way instead. So you have to figure out some way. Unless they make your machines AI. Now, if your machines are flying are AI and they're self-aware, which means they're scanning your vehicle, they can scan your vehicle, maybe put on some kind of woke system that wakes up and whatever it does and scans your system for any form of contraband or what you may have, and it can shut your system down and guide you down to be investigated. That's the only thing I can think of, because other than that, yeah, that's craziness right there. Now, I figured out basically how it would work if you were to slam into a building, because people thought about that. I'm in these forums, like people talk about all kinds of crazy conspiracies and stuff. I like that kind of stuff. And we thought about the flying car, and when somebody gets drunk, and somebody said, yeah, people don't need that flying cars. They can even drive regular cars correctly. Imagine them slamming into a building. What I would think is the building would have some kind of force field system with a kill switch, which means if you came within a certain distance of a building, your car shuts off. They should also have for other vehicles, too. But that would stop a car from slamming into a building, because you wouldn't be able to hit it. You'd hit a field zone, it'd just shut the car down. But in the Fifth Element, that wasn't so. Cars are right next to the freeway, just and nothing was hitting at each other. I don't know. It's just really interesting to think about that. Most people just see a flying car. I think of all the bad possibilities that could come out of that. I mean, some good possibilities too, but other than that, man, look at these people. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right down there. See those guys right there? Those are the cars on the lower half, and they're up there and way up there. So that's crazy when you think about that. But yeah, you would have to have a pilot's license. There's no other way. Gee whiz, can you imagine kids going up to get their pilot license at the end of the day? Cars would be flying like that. And you'd be sitting there saying, well, hey, I passed my pilot's license. I can fly. Yeah, I'm so happy. Can you imagine that? At freaking 6 years old, happy about flying a car. I literally would have thought we'd have had that technology by now. Really? Like in the year we are now, like we should have had that technology. Why didn't we have that technology? We should have had that already. We got robots. We have freaking robots, for goodness sakes. I mean, we dreamed about robots. Lost in Space, you see those robots on TV. And you thought about one day having robots, not the Terminator, but robots. Now we got machines that do that stuff. We don't have flying cars yet. You look at the jets, and we're missing a lot of stuff. Like the sidewalks that move everywhere. We ain't got that. We ain't got the freaking, what's that thing called on Star Trek? The replicator, the one that makes the food, just ask for them. They got one in the Fifth Element. They got little tiny pills. We ain't got that. What else we ain't got in the day? Oh, transporters, like on Star Trek. We ain't got that. I would not getting that if my life depended on it. Like, not the early version of it, maybe the later version of it. Yeah, and what about in the Fifth Element where they had that cruise ship that floated in outer space? We don't have that. So technically, we're not in the future yet. The future involves traveling to other planets. That's the future. So once man travels other planets, which is going to be not happening, we've had this conversation. You can't inhabit other planets. It's virtually impossible to do it. It's just, the weather conditions that they have on other planets, it's freaking unreal. There's no way in the world man could survive on it. Even the moon you can't survive on it. If you screw up the moon, you screw up the earth. And a package that goes together. You don't want to even mess around with the moon. That's one area. You don't want to be there drilling and carrying on there. No. You mess that up, you'll mess up the earth. All kinds of floods and catastrophic storms popping off you wouldn't be able to explain. Global warming would have nothing on that. If the moon were to actually just move out of its orbitational pull, we'd be in so much trouble it's not even funny. And no underground bunker will save you. Mind you, massive earthquakes, all that stuff. But anyway, it's just interesting to think about it. That'd be cool if that was underwater. If all that was underwater, it'd be pretty cool. Too many complications. Can't go to and live on another planet. I know there's some people that dream that. It's fun to dream it, it is, but it's not possible. You've seen the freaking temperatures. When it was minus Celsius 700, it was 800. Do you have any idea how cold that is? Man, your body would just shatter up there. No, there's sandstorms. All kinds of stuff they have up there. They were just me. You think about all the planets we have up there, all of them are jacked up, and Earth is the only one that we live on. So why isn't Earth like the rest of them? How come Earth isn't like Mars or Neptune, and none of them are Saturn? How come it's not like them? How come Earth is the way it is? How come life can be supported on that one planet, but all the rest of the planets out there, life can't be supported on there? Because we weren't meant for that planet. We're meant for this one only. That's why we're here. Even people going out of space suffer from damage. They have radiation, brittle bones, all kinds of problems they have by being out in outer space. And you think about that. All the planets we have, every single one of them, we can't live on. This is the only one we have. If we blow this one up, we're done. Well, we can't blow it up. It's not ours. But it just gives you something to think about, the bigger picture of it all. And the sun, where the sun is sitting at, all the other planets where the sun gets off radiation. So where all the other planets are at, they're too close or too far away from the sun. Some are so far away that the planets are super cold. Some are too close, the planets heat up. But that radiation that triggers off from the sun basically can kill anybody on any other planet except for Earth. Now, Earth, you can get radiation from the sun, but not to a point where it's going to kill you right away like on other planets. So Earth was made for us. Other planets weren't. Now, you're talking about a person whether we don't believe it. I'm a big Trekkie fan and Star Wars fan. I'm a big sci-fi fan. I love the whole idea of being able to go to different planets. I think that would be absolutely amazing. But you got to basically connect reality and every once in a while. Just not going to be able to go there. It's just not meant to be. If it was, we would have been there a long time ago. Our technology is far more advanced than what it was in 1969. We would have been there already. We built a telescope that literally can pierce the side of a man's face and tell whether he's shaved or not. That Hubble telescope is extremely powerful. We have satellites, for goodness sake, up orbiting around the Earth right now. We've got a space station up there. We've got a shuttle that can take off and land up there and dock itself in. Isn't that crazy? And come back in. Got all that technology. We got military aircraft. Can you imagine way back in the Wild West, farther back than that, the colonial time, where they had to take a musket. You load a musket by basically packing in gunfire, in some pellets, and then gunpowder again, and pack it in and get one shot. And here we got something now, weapons today, that you can slap a C-mag in with 300 rounds and level like everything. And if you want, you can connect your grenade launcher on the bottom of that, and now you've got a rocket launcher attached to it. Yeah, imagine that. And back in the day where they had warships, they had cannons. You know, these cannons had kickback. These suckers would push back. We'd get crushed by these things. And they had a cannon that fired one ball at a time. And now we got freaking warships that can fire rockets, missiles, even nuclear bombs that can wipe out an entire city. That's scary, to tell you the truth, really. We've come a long way from basically the musket and freaking cannonballs. You know, the musket's actually a portable cannon, right? A lot of people, it acts the same way as a cannon. It's a portable cannon, so you don't light it. That's interesting. Even in the medieval times, that's when they started developing all types of freaking jacked up weapons. And the medieval time, they came with a catapult. A giant slingshot that fires a rock, fire, whatever you want, right across the sky, and if you're accurate right, can take down the side of a castle wall. Technically, it was a giant slingshot. And then they took the bow and arrow and turned it into a giant massive crossbow with this huge freaking arrow in it. That was actually a real thing. And fired that off about the size of a Christmas tree coming at you. So, yeah. Interesting. Well, we should know the first murder was Cain and Abel. Yep. Anyway. I'm getting back to my world. My brain's going in different directions. Usually I do that. Stuff like this triggers it off because my mind starts going, oh, wow, what are all the cool stuff? But that would be cool, though. Man, I wonder if this probably goes in outer space. I know it probably goes in outer space. And probably now, if they got all of this, they have space travel. You would have to be, if man ever did conquer another planet, say he was able to live on that planet, the technology we would have to be this type of technology literally to do it. You would have to build some kind of structure that can withstand the storms on these planets. I would never live in a planet where there's no air. You know why? Greed. That's why. Somebody's going to capitalize on that and basically charge you to breathe. I would never move to a planet like that. You could be happy on the earth. You got water. They charge you for water. Something that comes from the sky free every single day. I already had a talk over in City Hall about the scam of water. The water is a scam. And people sit there going, no, it's not. You know, they take the time to clean the water. The water is clean there. What happens when they release the water to all those pipes? You think all the piping that they have through the entire city is up to date? Heck no. Some of that stuff has been there forever. Who knows what they're collecting off the side of the inside of those pipes that are traveling through that water and making it right to your house. So water has never been clean from day one. From day one, it's never been clean. People used to drink water right out of the spigot and go, that's fantastic. No, spigot water is nasty. It should never be drank at any time ever. Because you're thinking because the pipes in your places are fine. What about the travel time that it takes to go from the refinery that they clean it to your place? God knows what pipes it's going through. Are they telling everybody do new pipes or they're putting in a new building and they rip it up and put it on? Not all the pipes in the entire city are up to code. That would be expensive, super expensive. And God knows what's traveling in the water, what's in there, where it's coming from. It's disgusting. And then on top of that, consider the fact that water that comes from the sky isn't traveling through pipes. It's the same water that drops into the reservoirs that fill up the reservoirs. Same water. Except for that water is processed and cleaned. So they say you can drink it. And then it's shot through all those dirty pipes that come to your address. And then you get a water cleaner to clean the water so you can drink it. Or you don't even drink it at all. You just go buy bottled water. That's what you buy. You buy bottled water. And keep in mind, the water that comes through there has all kinds of enzymes and minerals in it and stuff like that. Harsh to your skin, your clothing, and all that. So people get water softeners installed. They clean and soften the water. So you're pretty much doing the job that was already supposed to be done. But they do the job, but the problem is the processing time where it travels through makes the water disgusting. So you have to clean it on your end. So yeah, you pay for something that at the end of the day, it comes from the sky for free, because that's where they got it from. They got it from the sky. The only difference is the water that comes from the sky and goes into your rain catcher doesn't go through all those pipes. It just goes through your pipes. That's it. That's the difference. And it's free. It's your water. It comes from the sky. You can catch it, take it, filtrate it, clean it, put water softener. It's free. It's yours. You got tanks in there. That's why there's huge tanks in there. You got tanks in there. You can drop tanks under the earth. You get a couple of the big tanks in there. You got water to wash your cars, whatever the heck you want to do at the end of the day. And yes, there's a way to heat it. I show people how to heat it, to hold that thing. Tankless water heaters, all that stuff. You can run all that off solar. You can be living bill-free. It rains on you every day. You want to experiment? Take a 5-gallon bucket, stick it outside, see how fast it fills up. That's free water. That's yours. You have to pay for it. That's a reality check right there. And then people get in their heads like, well, you know, how am I going to get this to pump through my house? It's easy. Well, they got all the equipment to show you how to do it. Very easy to do it. The tanks, they fill up, pumping system, all that stuff pushes all that water right back into your house. Same thing. It comes from that tank that's in your ground, and it pumps it into your house. And as it's pushing through your house, you have valves to cut off where you want to redirect water, and you already have from the beginning. And as it goes through certain sections, you have water filtration systems to clean it. You have water softeners to soften your water, so you can have it for your dishwasher. You can have it for your laundry unit, all that, even for your cars, the whole 9 yards. It's a huge tank filled with water from the sky for free. You can do it easily. I watched a guy who had this huge log cabin house. Man, everything in there, man, all the crazy appliances in there. And he took the EcoFlow system, which is a cheap setup, $3,000, cheap setup. You can do payments on it, but at least you're not ever paying electricity ever again, because he powered that entire place with it. That's what I was doing the research on. I actually paid money to the Kickstarter program for the first one I had, the one I bought. I went to Kickstarter, bought one. And that thing did exactly as it's designed to do. I was powering my office for free. I had a little, the smaller room, I had a little flexible solar panel hanging out the side, and I was powering my office for free. All my computers, all that stuff was running off that EcoFlow system for free. So I bought one to test it out. That thing is freaking amazing. And then I have a power system station that you can build in your home, and it hooks up to your box, directly to your hot box. So that way now you can turn the hot box off and power everything to your flow system, EcoFlow system, and run it free. So now when you do panels is an investment, which means you really won't see your investment until you pay off your panels. And that's what they expect for you to keep paying off these panels. The money's going to keep, you know what I mean, and people put more money on it, more money on it. You're really not going to see an investment. EcoFlow system costs are cheaper than panels. And by the time you pay that off, which you know, like I said, easy payment, get it knocked out of the way, you're making money at the end of the day, because the money you put into paying for electricity now goes in your pocket, and the money you pay for water goes in your pocket. But you know, people want to keep paying the electricity and paying the water bill, because at the end of the day it's convenient. That's why you do it, because it's convenient. But at the end of the day, you still take extra money. You pay a water bill, and then you spend hundreds of dollars on bottled water, infiltration systems, the clean water that you paid for to be clean to begin with. And ask the water companies, what am I paying for water for? What do I pay for water? Well, you pay for to have it hooked up to your house. We cleaned it for you. That's what you pay for. You pay for to clean it for you. Yeah, we clean the water for you. So it's clean there, yeah? So what happens when it channels through all those dirty, nasty pipes and makes it to my place? Is it clean then? And then it'll get quiet. It's not clean. So that means I have to spend, what, $60 for a filter to put up there to clean my water? Keep changing out the filter because it's traveling through those dirty pipes, that's why. Where if it's coming from the sky, it ain't traveling through dirty pipes. You got a system to clean it, just like they got a system to clean theirs. Where does their water come from? Oh, yeah, it comes from the sky. That's why about the Hoover Dam. You ever watch the research on the Hoover Dam? Somebody saw water falling over the side of a mountain and said, I'm going to make money off this. I'm going to convert a dam and charge people to pay for the dam. And that's what they did. He got rich off of it. From water flowing over the side of a mountain. Powered the entire city with it. And now they pay him, or whoever owns it now, for that dam. So imagine if we had the ability to travel into outer space and someone figured out to build some freaking huge, massive humidor, whatever they're going to call, some air cleaning system, whatever, that cleans the air. So we can all breathe it. And then they start capitalizing on it, and they figure we can make money because people are going to pay for air. Because if you don't, you're going to die. If you don't pay for water, you're going to die? No. You can always buy it. What about electricity? You gonna die? No. I'm not gonna die from that. Air, on the other hand, yeah. And that means they're gonna charge you through the roof. Greedy millionaires, whatever, gonna get in there, and they're gonna charge you through the roof for air. And they can. You know why? Because they know you need it. That's why I would never leave this planet ever. Nope. Not in a million years. All right. We went way off topic. At least we didn't go too far off topic. It's at 1:15, so I didn't go too far off. So I'm pretty good on that one. I'm going to kill it right here. Or stop it right here. Hope you enjoyed what we talked about and all. Yeah, that's how I got started. The whole 9 yards, working hard, dealing with haters at the end of the day. Gotta waste time. Gotta not waste time, but I gotta be in court back and forth with some dumb nonsense at the end of the day. I'm gonna sit up there in court like, you gotta be kidding me. I can't wait to talk to this judge. Like, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta take time out of my day, Your Honor, to be in here to deal with grown men at the end of the day who do not know how to act right. One of them is not going to make it to a court. He's going to go to a courtroom, but his case is a little different from the rest of them. It's way different than the rest of them. We all know who. Anyway. But anyway, I gotta get back. I got things to do. I'm done. I got to be on the website. I got to be updating. I got stuff to do. And I got some demonstrations I'm going to be showing off tomorrow. Let's see. Probably most likely going to do this screen. This screen and, no. I have something else I want to show off too. Oh, well, it'll get to me. Something else I want to show off. But we'll do it tomorrow. I'll figure it out. Oh, yeah. I wanted to show more of the screen that took in 100,000 lux of sunlight. Definitely be posting more of that. All right, people. Hope you enjoyed our little talk we had together. Yes. And we give all credit to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for blessing us with amazing technology. Because the Lord taught me how to build computers. And He taught me about screen paint. He taught me all kinds of cool stuff in the day. On top of that, I learned about a lot of cool stuff too. The water filtration, hydrating systems, and hydroelectric energy. I'm actually studying that. I'm actually in a farm sector for people studying that. So yeah, when I get my farm, I can basically go in and do some research on that. On how to basically conduct free power. Oh man, I'm telling you. That's a dream right there. To have a piece of land, no plumbing, no electricity, nothing. You have to figure it out. That's what I like at the end of the day. That's why I can understand how people don't understand that they feel they have to have the luxuries of life. And I can tell you from the door, you better learn to be able to survive. You better be able to learn how to build something from nothing. Because again, like I said, at the end of the day, you should know some form of survival skills. You hunt, fish, all that stuff. And we know how to do all that stuff, everything. You trap, you should know how to do all that stuff. It's very important. For me, it's an opportunity just to see something with nothing there, and I got to make all that stuff come to life. I like that kind of life. I love it. I love it. That's what I loved about the garage so much. Nothing in there. I had to learn to live in there. I had to learn to survive and all that. I like that at the end of the day. And somebody, oh, he's this, he's that, he's poor, he's broke. At the end of the day, you just don't know. If I gave you a buck knife and stuck you out in the middle of the woods, you'd probably starve to death out there. You probably would. Probably out there, catch you all covered up in dirt and eating worms and whatever. Yeah, you'll starve to death out there. A buck knife, I'm good. I can get it done. I have no problem with that. I've been through much worse than that. I got a bunch of military family. They do survival camp games at the end of the day. Gee, where's the Louise? Some of that stuff is kind of bizarre, but whatever. Whatever floats your boat. But yeah. You should be the side five with a buck knife. That's all you need. You can get shelter, food, everything from that weapon. Everything you need you can get from that knife. If you know how to use it correctly. A lot of people don't know how to use a knife correctly. Period. Get shelter, get food, everything from that knife. Everything. Heck, I built those cardboard, I built them PC cases out of a knife, using a knife, everything. That is your best friend. But anyway, that's another story in its own. That's why I like watching the bushcrafters, man. I love those guys so much. They do some cool stuff. But yeah, I love that. Piece of land, no plumbing, wires, no electricity, nothing. Oh man, that is a challenge right there. I can get it to work, definitely. I don't want all that stuff. I want to build it with my own two hands. And there are people who like that. They love to build things with their own two hands. All right. Well, with that being said, hope you enjoyed. I think the only thing I would need is just a brook. Oh man, like a running brook. That's it. Because I can get power from that. That's easy. Power, food, no, comes to a brook. A brook is energy. It's energy. That water flow is energy. Then on top of that is food. Learn how to plant the right plants in there. You attract all kinds of fish. You breed the right fish, you'll attract other fish. That's why people get two chickens. You get a chicken, you get a rooster, and they start having babies, and you got more. You got food at the end of the day. You got eggs at the end of the day. Yeah. Same thing like fish. Learn about your ecosystem and how it survives in the ecosystem, what's attracted to what eats what you don't want in there that may basically kill off everything in there. You'd be surprised. Well, now you can basically farm fish. Oh, we on the computer over here. Woo! Let's get over here. Sorry about that. That's my whole. It's over here. Let me see. Display settings. Nope. View. Wait, if I remove that, does that remove whatever? Or does it remove from here? It doesn't, does it? It does. Okay, you exit out of that. Let me see. Change it for my retro. All right, people, with that being said, hope you enjoyed. Got to go. Thank you for your time. Of course, we thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for blessing us with amazing technology. If it weren't for him, none of this would ever be possible. Got to go. Thank you for your time. God bless. And like I said, we're going to keep doing what we got to do. I'm going to keep making better technology. I'm going to keep making more affordable technology. And for those people at the end of the day that want to doubt us, you're always welcome to come to a showroom and check it out. And if that's not enough for you, I'll see you in court. That's all to it. Gotta go and God bless.